in their own life. What do you want in a life? If money was never an option, if we never had the things that limit us, because at times we're all our biggest enemies. And when we are our own biggest enemies, we surround ourselves with people who can be an enemy to us as well. It's those poor relationships. It's those people you surround yourself with. The ones that are haters, those people that just snicker when you're supposed to be winning. We had a brother come up here earlier and talk about depression. Again, depression is a killer to the African American community, even including myself. I need a therapist. I need a black therapist. I went around looking for therapists throughout the entire state, and I was like, well, everyone that is, they ain't as tan as me, so can they actually relate to me? Can they understand? There it is. See, there it is. I got you. See, just don't tell my business now. I'm secretive. And when I had to think about it, it's like, well, who can understand me when I still don't understand myself? Because we are all struggling, no matter how, well dressed we are, painted, whatever that looks like. Because it's not about what you dress, it's who you are. And I had to struggle with that so much because I'm overdressed, as you can tell. I mean, it's kind of cold out right now. But I was like, well, the world's going to view you how you view yourself. So I was like, well, do I always dress in suits? Or I love sweats. I'm a laid-back guy. I like playing basketball. I like kids. I actually want to have 7 kids. Can you believe that? I know everyone says the same thing. I do that. 7. I get some money. I got books back there if y'all want to help me and my 7 kids. I know. I like kids. They just want to hug them all, even if they're not mine. But I got to run if they ain't mine because people call the cops. How do you create an impact? And what does impact must? And when you do create an impact, you must stand out. So how do we stand out? How do we wave our hands and make the world look at us? We must stand up for a cause that is bigger than our own eyes and hearts. You surround yourself with those people that push you out of your comfort zone. Those that call you out for you not being accountable. Being accountable is the toughest thing I've learned how to do in life. Even if I'm falling flat on my face and I have to admit that I intentionally trip myself. Because at times we intentionally trip ourselves when we don't open up our ears or even look down into our shoes. So where do we start? They say, go back to Africa. Go back to your country. Well, I've never been to Africa. You trying to pay for the plane ticket? I don't get a passport, but if you want to drop down $180 for the passport, please do. I heard Africa is actually a great country. There's bad parts, just like there's bad parts in the country of the U.S. Don't get me started. But people try to ship you away when they don't want to learn from you, when they feel discomfort. They don't like your ways of thinking or just where you're from or where you're dressing. I lived in a house in college. We had 13 bedrooms, 5 girls and 8 guys. We had everyone in this house. Somalis, Asians, blacks, Caucasians, everyone. And it was like, no one had any beefs with each other. And I was like, why can't the world just be like me and my roommates? We just want to sit back and watch Rick and Morty and kick it. Watch a couple of TED Talks. Come on, guys. Why can't we all get along? Well, don't get me started there. Well, we are all strong. Well, some are strong-willed, some are strong-hearted, some are strong-headed. When I was a kid, I was hard-headed. Everyone ever heard that word hard-headed? I had my way with my way. Well, I grew up with a black woman, so I'm gonna be sassy if I need to be. But we are all strong. It depends actually if we feel that we are. Because I would always say this, we view the world how you view yourself. And as I continue to harbor and overcome things that I've been harboring that I didn't know, I love this. We had a lady come up and talk about chakras. I didn't know what chakras were when I was younger. Chakras? What you mean? Energy? I paid my light bill. What you mean? Well, there's something that's supernatural. We talk about prayers, we talk about meditation, things like that. And when I had to open up my heart to understand things that I wouldn't have necessarily know about, because I grew up in a Christian background, Baptist church, go to church every Sunday, tithe and stuff like that. Where in life, we're all tithing in so many different ways. When I come to Minneapolis, I always see someone that's homeless. And it at times it represents someone that looks similarly like me. And there's that inner nudge that was like, do we give them money? What are they going to do with their money? Well, what do I do with my money? Well, I pay bills. I flavoriously spend money. I'm a human. I can't judge a person how they're going to spend my money when I'm judging myself on how I spend my money. You think I want to pay this XL energy bill? Yeah, but no at the same time. So when we started creating an impact, Well, what really got me out of my comfort zone, it was that Trayvon Martin killing. You know, I'm unarmed right now, but I'm a danger to some. And I had to get out of my comfort zone. This is when I was young. I was just like, all right, I know I'm black, but man, this is whack. I can't do this. So I stepped out and I started to march with the Black Lives Matter movement. I started to see Nakima out here. And I was like, wow, I want to be something like that. Not a woman, but I just want to be out there preaching. And I came, you're a queen. And I was like, man, I want to go out here and march. I want to do something that's different because I grew up listening to all the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, they're all across my wall. I said, well, we don't need another Martin, we don't need another Malcolm. And I say that because, unfortunately, they got assassinated, but we need people who can say things and live to say it. I love Dr. Sebi. If anyone knows about the story of Dr. Sebi, that's a conspiracy, another. But if you have anything that will stop the tradition, you're either be assassinated, killed, you know, these little mystery things that happen to people who are genuinely just trying to change the status quo. And so when I marched with the Black Lives Matter movement, I sat front row, I heard the cries of people, I shared my tears, and I said, all right, I gotta do something about this. I gotta do something. Well, at that time, again, it was the community versus police brutality. So I jumped out of my comfort zone. I joined the Multicultural Advisory Committee for the Brooklyn Center Police Department. I've been sitting on the committee for about 3 years now. I've been on the sergeant hiring panel. I've been able to hire police officers that necessarily serve a community that does not look like them, asking those tough questions. How can you serve a community when you don't live in the community, you don't look like the community, and you don't know about the community? It's like me right now, imagine I'm a cop, you know. I'm wearing blue, but not that type of blue. And I walked into, let's say, a Hmong community. I don't speak Hmong people. There's gonna be a disconnect. I don't know the culture. I love the food, but that's not enough to get me in the door. Well, that same analogy is the same way where policing is policing all the different communities. Well, in what ways are we going to interact with the Hmong community, the Somali community, the black community, the white community, and make the world that we have that is so diverse also represent the police officers that serve that community? Well, that's something we're all trying to tackle on a daily basis because, you know, as we all know, black people are getting killed left and right. We have black voices that are not being heard. We have all these allegations that happen with the R. Kelly-ness. This has been happening for 14 plus years. But when are our cries are actually going to be heard? Well, when we make enough ruckus. Well, we've been making ruckus for quite some time. We've had our leaders get assassinated. Well, when is it actually going to change? Anyone have an answer? I know, sobering. Well, get involved. How do you get involved? There you know, another error. How do you get involved? Go to your local police department. See in what ways you can volunteer. Find a cause that you can stand for and have your heart stand for it as well. One of my biggest passions, for those that may not know, I'm also a PCA. I've been a personal care attendant for 3 years, working in the mental health realm. Love it. Love understanding people who are going through situations because the more I can learn from them, the more I can learn about myself. So when we talk about mental health, when we talk about vulnerable adults, when we talk about the things that people are not willing to talk about, that's when we actually change. That's when we actually do that paradigm shift. When things, that friction of just discomfort, it's like when you're about to go and jump off one of the diving board. It's fun until you actually get up there. It looks cool. Oh yeah, it looks hard. I'll do a flip. I ain't never done a flip in my life. But having the courage to just jump on that diving board and take that leap of faith, it's like taking a leap of faith in yourself. But you have to start to understand what triggers you. We have people here supporting the last day of Black History Month. I've been black for 25 years, so I don't need 1 month, I need a couple years. So let me get started. And I understand the philosophy of celebrating Black history. Well, every month is literally Black history, honestly. Whether it's the music that it's been able to cultivate, to rock and roll, to hip hop and all that stuff. Not only in that, I met a friend who family was the family that was a part of the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street back in the day. His great-grandfather was actually a part of that. And when it got burned down, he had to flee to Minnesota. And I was like, oh man, you were part of the Black wealth? Oh, you got money, that's cool. Generational wealth. And I learned from him, actually. He literally has generational wealth. His family had it big in